Live from Pitt Studios inside the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh, it is the Pat Narduzzi Show. I'm Larry Richard, head coach of the Panthers. Pat Narduzzi, how was your rest? But it wasn't really a rest for you, right, Coach?
No rest. I wish it was a rest. I think our kids, I hope they got a little bit of a break. We only practiced twice last week on Wednesday and Thursday. Coaches got about 3 days on the road, so they were rolling. Matter of fact, I had to cut them loose one night a little bit earlier. Like, Coach, we haven't seen our families. About 5 coaches left from the Duke game Saturday night at whatever time that was and flew to the recruiting areas, to get in place on Sunday and really went Monday, Tuesday. So it's
all fun and
so when I brought them back, I'm like, let's go. We got stuff to do. And they're like, I haven't seen my kids. So we try to take it easy and let the coaches get fresh, players get a little fresh.
Yeah, we arrived back in Pittsburgh after the Duke game at about 3:30 in the morning, and you guys just kept rolling. So I thought it's important that fans know the work continues. It wasn't just relaxing, although I'm sure the players did look forward to a few days off. Here we are in the midseason. Game 7 coming up Friday night at Syracuse. You're 4-2, 1-1 in the ACC. Another opportunity. But let's go back to Duke for just a minute. I know it seems like ancient history for you.
It does. Well, I forgot what happened that night.
Well, I was a witness. It was an exciting game, and good teams find a way to win, no matter what the situation is, and that's ultimately what you were able to do. Put the hands in the ball of Kenny Pickett, or put the ball in the hands of Kenny Pickett, marches down the field and finishes in 47 seconds, goes 82 yards. That was impressive.
2-minute drill is so important. And, our kids didn't flinch on the sideline. You didn't see them like, oh, no. You didn't see heads go down. Our kids believed all the way to the end. And, Taysir came up with a big catch early, I think, on a quick out. And then, things just started to materialize for our football team. And like you said, good teams find a way to win, and we found a way that night for sure.
I was standing next to the bench, and I heard Jimmy Morrissey, the center, as they were going to take the field for that final drive, and they just seemed confident, and you had a feeling they're going to finish this thing, and it was fun to watch, and so much better to go into a bye week with a win, right?
Oh, it would have been amazing. They might not have got as much free time had we not won that football game, especially where it was in the first half. You thought we're going to pull away. You talk about it at halftime. It's 0-0. We're going to go out and do the same thing in the second half. And the second half, started with that punt return where we, muffed the punt and kind of went downhill, but our kids were able to regain their composure and get it done.
It never ceases to amaze me how a single play can change the momentum for a team positively and negatively, and we've had it happen both ways.
We really have. It's a game of emotion, really, and we talk about our kids all the time about getting their minds right. And your mind's got to be right for 60 minutes. You got to be right on a Friday before you get on that bus or that airplane, wherever you travel, and it's so important that we're locked into that football game, and then those emotions start to go, and you could turn a good player into a bad player real quick.
But also good to start that run of ACC games that'll take us through the end of the regular season with a victory. A lot of parity in the Coastal. If you look at the records overall, Virginia lost, as you're, I'm sure, acutely aware. I know you try not to pay a lot of attention to that because you're trying to stack wins. That's what gets you to be a repeat Coastal champion.
No question about it. We're just focused on what we need to do. We can't worry about what everybody else is doing out there. I'm sure our kids know, but I'm sure not going to address it in a team meeting. We just got to focus on Syracuse and take one game at a time. And really, it's a one-game season. I said, we're putting everything into this one game. We need to go out and knock it out because you win this game, next week becomes even more important.
I want you to know Amanda Soleil, our remote producer, who pointed out Game 7 in the season, and you've had a different start time, a different kickoff time for every single game, and now we're going to play on a Friday. Does any of that matter to you?
It really doesn't. For me, today's a Wednesday. I think it's a Tuesday for you guys, but it's a Wednesday practice. Tomorrow's a Thursday practice, and I just hope our guys didn't mess their class schedule up based on what we're telling them, practice is. But nothing really changes. It's a Friday night. It's a Saturday night. Our kids are ready, especially after an open weekend. It would bother me if we played a Saturday night and then had to come back and play a Friday.
Right.
But with having an extra time, it really doesn't matter.
Well, we have a lot to talk about. We have Taysir Mack with us today. He'll be joining us in just a few minutes. Plus, Pat Bostic will be along. We'll talk about Syracuse. They came into the season ranked 22nd preseason in the country. They've struggled a little bit, but they're still a good football team.
No question about it. And, they'll be even a better football team when they play the Pitt Panthers because it always is a game. We're expecting a dogfight up there in the Dome, and they'll be prepared. Dino Babers is a great coach, and again, they're a young football team with a new quarterback that's just trying to learn who they are and what they do, and I think they'll get better every week.
With the victory against Duke, you have an opportunity to pass out the weekly awards, even though, again, it's ancient history to you. We'll bring the fans up to speed, and more of your players are being recognized nationally for their efforts on the field. So we'll talk about that. We got a lot going on here. It's the Pat Narduzzi Show, and we'll be back right after this.
Pickett is back. Here's the blitz. He throws a pass down the middle. It's caught inside the 15, at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Panthers! From 27 yards out, it's pulled in by Malik Carter, who refused to go down, and the Panthers are back on top.
Voice of the Panthers, Bill Hillgrove, describing the game-winning touchdown at Duke. Malik Carter from Kenny Pickett, 27 yards to put an exclamation point on a wild game down there at Duke University. Larry Richer with Coach Pat Narduzzi. And, Coach, when you get a win, you have an opportunity to award your team. Let's talk about the individuals who deserve recognition. There were many.
No doubt about it. We'll start with Paris Ford, who had 12 tackles and 2 interceptions. One of those a pick 6. He played outstanding as he has the last few weeks. And Pat Jones both were the defensive players of the week. Pat Jones had 2 sack, strip fumbles that were huge in the game, and obviously that, you talk about the Malik Carter touchdown. The other game winner was that, caused turnover, to end the game on defense. Taysir Mack, our guest today, 9 receptions, 85 yards, and a TD. Nice fade to him. Just had an outstanding game. And then on special teams, Theron Coleman with the tackle, and he was the first to run down the kickoff to get to the 30-yard line, the opposite 30. So he was the fastest guy down the field 3 times in a row. So he graded out outstanding. The offensive lineman of the week, Jimmy Morrissey, who I think he can maybe get it every week. He practices the same way he plays on game days. Unsung heroes, special teams was Dane Jackson. He's the one that really stopped that fake punt that they tried when they had 5 guys in the backfield as well, Coach. They had 5 in the backfield, but we still stopped it. DeMar Hamlin was also defensively, had 5 great tackles. And then, of course, Malik Carter, unsung hero with that one big catch from Kenny Pickett to win the football game.
If he doesn't do that spin move, who knows what happens? I mean, that was a big-time move, and then we asked him after. He basically said, I was running for my life. And
he's a treat.
He's quick.
He's quick. He can move. I didn't know if anybody tackled him in space. That was another explosive play that, there's only a few guys that can make that play, and he's one of them.
They basically had one shot at him. And then nationally, I wanted to mention, of course, we'll talk to Taysir Mack. He's been added to another watch list, but also Jalen Twyman with the award that's presented to college football's Defensive Player of the Year. He's continued to progress and continued to be consistent about getting sacks and wreaking havoc up there up front. So congrats to him as well. And also Paris Ford and Patrick Jones, ACC Players of the Week for that week, defensive back and defensive lineman of the week. So the awards keep stacking up, and that's good as long as you keep stacking up wins.
No doubt about it. Nobody cares about this. This is old news here. It's about this week, and we got to lock into Syracuse.
Let's talk about your preparations in a week like this. So you're coming off a bye, and now you have a earlier day to play football on Friday night. So what's your week look like?
We just moved the week up a little bit. We had Sunday meetings, but when we came in Sunday, we had 2 practices, as I talked earlier, last week, and then Sunday they came in, and we really just focused on watching videotape on Syracuse and had some walkthroughs, but no practice on Sunday. And then came out Monday, which was a normal Tuesday practice. So Monday was a Tuesday, Tuesday's a Wednesday, and Wednesday will be a Thursday, and then we'll travel, Thursday afternoon, which will be a normal Friday, and head to Syracuse, New York, beautiful Syracuse, New York.
And presumably anybody that's nicked up has some extra time to get back on the field, which is the goal. So when we come back, Taysir Mack's going to join us, and we're looking forward to a conversation with him. I kind of cheated. I told him, well, here's what we need you to do, and I think he believed me when I said sing and read poetry and all this other stuff.
He'd be good at anything he tries.
You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Time has come. We talk about responding and being a great football team, and that's what we got in here. Don't you ever question that.
1, 2, 3, go!
And we welcome wide receiver Taysir Mack, who had another great game. Congratulations, 9 catches, 85 yards, and you just keep stacking those stats up. It was a great win.
Thank you.
What were you thinking when you see that ball? You know, there wasn't much of a window there.
Man, I just know, balls in the air, we're always taught, we got to come down on them. Coach Deuce, he makes it a key emphasis before the game. We need big plays. We need, those hard catches. The ball's in the air. We got to go and get it. We got to make a play. Those big plays, make big differences.
You and Maurice French are tearing it up between the two of you. You are the most prolific duo in FBS receivers. You have 91 receptions in 6 games. It's pretty impressive.
It definitely is.
Well, what's good about having that is that they don't know who to double. Because if they double one, they can't cover the other as well. So that gives you both opportunities. And you've come up with some big time catches. I want to ask you about your journey to get to Pitt. Coach, you came, for those that don't know, you're from Brooklyn, New York, and you were in Indiana. And how'd you end up at the University of Pittsburgh?
Well, actually, I had a close relationship with Coach Watson when he was at Indiana. He was just a good role model to me, good person, good coach to be around. When he left Indiana, I decided, just to keep up with him, see all different things he was doing. So when he landed the job here, it was actually a school that, I had interest before, just like watching a lot of Tyler Boyd highlight tapes before games in high school, watching a lot of Larry Fitzgerald. So, I kept up with that. So when I decided to make my decision to leave Indiana, I thought about all the people I know that's in good places. Reached out to some of the guys here. And, they was interested, and got here, and it was just a great match.
Have you adapted to Pittsburgh? I mean, we're kind of a tiny borough compared to New York City.
Man, I love it here. I still get the city feel. Me being away from home, but I could kind of see I'm not away from home. Just having the stuff around, the malls. I just go do a lot of driving around, like seeing the city. I like how downtown, late at the night, it lights up. So stuff like that just keeps me feeling a little bit at home.
So did you get some rest, Coach? I'm always curious if they actually got some rest in the bye week.
Oh, no, we got rest. Coach made sure, he made sure he
They had time away from the office. I don't know if they rested. They could be running around this beautiful city of Pittsburgh, too. I don't know.
Nah, but we definitely took advantage of it. All the good things that they have in store for us, just in terms of the treatment, all the food and stuff, to make sure we're taking care of our bodies throughout the week. So having that grace period where we're just able to, sit there, relax, take advantage of all those things, all the opportunities we might not have a chance to because class and football. So, just having that time, our bodies are fresher, now we're just ready to go out and play a great game on Friday.
Who are some of your closest friends on the team? I would imagine it's offensive guys, but not necessarily.
I actually live with Elias. Elias, he's a cat from, New York. I actually was friends with him before I got to Pitt. That's how I kind of got the inside scoop about Pitt, Coach Narduzzi.
What Coach Narduzzi's all about. What'd they tell you about Coach Narduzzi? I'm curious.
He's hard, but he comes from a good place.
All right, I think that's a fair description. Coach?
Hey, whatever. It is what it is. I'm sure there's a lot of things said.
Yeah, but, at the end of the day, it was all good. And then it showed, not anything that they said was, a false perception or false reality. A lot of coaches say things or do things to get you here, but they don't keep up with it, He kept his word from the day I came in his office, and he allowed me to hold, the Bolitnikoff Award in there. And, that was a big moment for myself, too. Like, I took a picture in his office and hung it up on my wall, just me with that trophy. That's just things I have envisioned. And, he said he'll give me an opportunity to win something like that here at this university.
Well, how did you feel when you found out your name is on the Bolitnikoff watch list now, for real?
Oh, man, exciting. Just real thankful, especially, Kenny just believing in me. His confidence is going higher, so is mine. I walk out the building every day, and that's, the first thing that we see going down the steps is that trophy. So sit there and I look at it all the time. I know it says Larry Fitzgerald's name, has his number. And every time I say it, I was like, all right, I'm coming for this.
He had the best catch I've seen of the year in practice yesterday. He runs down the field and snatches one up here like this. It was like, whoa. I told EJ, we probably need to get that out. It was like, Odell catch a little bit. It was one of them one-handers. I was like, he just snatched that thing. I was like, whoa.
Who are some of the receivers in the NFL that you look up to? Larry Fitzgerald, of course, you mentioned.
Yes, my favorite actually receiver in the game right now is Julio Jones. He's just an absolute beast. I mean, I feel like DB's fair when they go up against him, just because like him one-on-one, like come on now, like. But.
And you're a media and communications major, so you basically want this job years down the road when you're done playing, right?
No, I definitely want to stay, around the game of football at some point aspect. I always find stuff like this interesting. I watch the ESPNs. My mom, she harps on, the books. She harps on, life after the game. And she felt like, if I feel like I still need the game, in my life, then find something around the game that makes me happy. And just like doing stuff like this, watching stuff like this, it definitely, bright spot.
Sounds like your mom has good advice, right, Coach?
No doubt about it. She's done a great job raising them.
All right, so in the pregame, you're going to be asked 10 questions by Cale Berger, but I have a couple of bonus questions for you. You all right?
Go ahead and shoot.
Because we want to know, as fans, a little more about the guy we're seeing making those big catches. Do you have any special talents outside of playing football?
Oh, man.
That means no.
Are you a gamer? Do you play?
I spend the majority of the time just with my family. I like taking my little sister out.
Right.
Other than that,
And girlfriend.
Well, that's rare.
Study a
Guys,
lot.
you're not playing games. I heard there was some big Fortnite thing where there was a black hole showed up and people were staring at the TV.
Oh, no, I don't got.
It's good that you don't know about that. All right, 3 top artists on your Spotify.
3 top artists. All right, cool.
We're going to ask Coach the same question.
Little Baby. I don't know if y'all know who that is, but Little Baby. A Boogie. He's from New York. And actually an artist from my neighborhood called Pop Smoke.
Pop Smoke.
Yeah, Coach, if you knew what Spotify was, what would your 3 artists be?
Foreigner, AC/DC, and
good.
Scorpions.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
What's
You
that?
know any of those, Taysir?
I've heard of him.
All right, so one final question. If you were stranded on a deserted island, which 2 teammates would you take with you and why?
Oh, yeah. Maurice French. Have to be with French. Just because he's a funny guy and come on, you seen the way he's built. Like, I don't even got to worry about it. French going to go ahead and handle whatever problems we have. And he's just good people to be around. And it has to be Shockey. Jock Louise. Now, Shockey's just a funny person. And just like, his mentality, him being from Florida, he has this mentality that nobody in the world could beat him. So if I ever had to get in to a fight on a deserted island, we got to fight for our life, I already know Shockey's going to be the main one talking about something I can do it all.
He might talk about it. I think he might lose a little bit.
But he might lose, but he'll give me that confidence.
Well, that's outstanding. Taysir Mack, Bolitnikoff, watch list and awardee, and I will tell you it's been fun to watch you in the first half of the season. Good luck at Syracuse Friday night and continued success.
Thank you.
And when we come back, former Pitt quarterback Pat Bostic and our color analyst on the broadcast.
They helped me a lot to just, mold me who I am.
Pitt just has it all.
Everyone is on their feet.
Hail to Pitt. We just witnessed history.
Pitt Beyond the Script, weekly on AT&T Sportsnet.
Time has come. We talk about responding and being a great football team, and that's what we got in here. Don't you ever question that. 1, 2, 3, dominate!
We have won Pitt's first
Larry Richard with Coach Pat Narduzzi and Matt Bostic, who is our color analyst. Of course, he's the Associate Athletic Director of Major Gifts at the university. I'm sure you're aware of that, Coach.
Major gifts.
Major Gifts. Pat, let's talk about Paris Ford. Well, that came early in the game, and your defense coach was all over Duke and forced some errors on their part that helped stack up some points.
It was a huge play. I mean, he did it all camp, though. I mean, the guy's a playmaker. He seems to be getting more consistent. Obviously, you guys will be without him in the first half, which is disappointing. I'm sure he'll be back with a vengeance.
Yeah, for those that don't know, let's talk about that. But that's an important point because he's played so well. Unfortunately, he was called for a targeting violation in the second half late in the game.
He's got to sit in the locker room for the first half. He can't even be on the sideline. I didn't realize that.
No, I didn't realize
It's
that.
the same as
either.
if you were kicked out in the first half and had to
Gotta be
sit
in
out
the
in the
locker
second.
room.
You know, Dino Babers came into Syracuse. I know you have a lot of respect for him. Let's face it, Syracuse struggled for years and years, and he was able to, turn the program around. Last year, they almost beat Clemson and went on to win the national championship. They're disappointing their fans this year. Right now, it's just 3-3 and 0-2 in the ACC, but they're capable.
They're very capable. They've got a great football team. You know, their defensive ends cause havoc in the backfield big time. We're going to have to control those two guys. And again, they got a new quarterback taking over for Dungy a year ago, who we know was outstanding. I think he played for 6 years.
It seemed like it.
4.
Yeah, he played 4 solid years and helped turn that program around. And they don't have him. They've got Tony DeVito. What do we know about this QB?
Yeah, Tommy is a strong-armed kid. He can rifle the ball. Sometimes throws it too hard. He can put it where he wants to, and he can run. It sounds like from reading some of the stuff this week that he's a little bit banged up. I don't know if he's got a knee or what he's got, but he's been a little bit banged up. But that hadn't slowed him down.
They're another up-tempo team. I think over Coach Babers' career, they're up 82 plays a game. Schematically, though, how different are they from a UCF?
They're a lot different. They run some of the similar concepts. They're going to go with some very wide splits. They'll do a little bit of their two-back, with Elmore being in there, number 5, a 295-pound fullback, tight end, whatever you want to call him. So they do a bunch of different things. They'll also get in some 2 tight ends. They really like their 2 tight end stuff. So we practice a lot of 2 tight ends. We practice a lot of 4 wides. I think we'll see a lot of 4 wides that we practice a lot of, and a lot of 11 personnel, 1 tight end. And I don't know if we'll see a lot of the 2-back stuff.
Defensively, they get Cisco back at safety. He was a ball hawk last year. They've had a turnover in 20 straight games. Obviously, protecting the football is critical in any game. But what do they do aside from getting pressure that makes it tough for opponents to protect the ball?
They're very similar to us. Up front, they're an attacking team. They like to aggressively go run up the field. I mean, they're going to attack and react to what they see, and that's kind of how we coach our front 7. So that's kind of what they are. They're very aggressive. They run the same blitz we do. The double-A gap, I don't know where they got it from, but they run, the same blitz is their favorite blitz. So, we've seen that, plenty of times here through camp. So they're very similar, to our defense. They're an attacking 4-3.
How is playing in a dome different? I mean, you've played up Happy Valley. It was loud, so the noise thing, I don't know how much of a factor that's going to be, but does that present any special issues at all?
I don't think so. I mean, we practice with the noise. I think we'll be, pretty good with that. It's just, for the kickers, they got to love it. They can't blame the wind. The kickoff didn't go in the end zone. I don't want to hear about,
no mud.
At Duke, I'm hearing about the wind. The wind's catching it. I'm like, what? There's no wind up there. So there'll be no wind for the quarterbacks or, the kickers and punters. So, there should be some accuracy there. But, it's no different than practicing in our indoor facility, which we did today. It's the same.
The nice matchup for your defense is they've struggled to protect their quarterback. They've given up the 3rd most sacks. And what problems do they have? Do you see that they just haven't been able to protect their quarterback as well as other teams?
Yeah, well, I mean, their offensive line's, got some young guys up front. Again, I think they've gotten better and better each week. I mean, Clemson got 8, so let's consider, who got them. North Carolina State got 8 last week. So they've given up the majority of, 16 of them in 2 games, which is, a lot of sacks. So, we'll find out what we got. I told Coach Partridge, if you're worth a darn, we'll have 9. I mean, we're going to have 1 more than we got to one-up them. And so we'll see what happens.
How much press coverage do you see from opponents? Because you guys are so, not exclusive, but you do a lot of press. And you watch football and you don't see a lot of it, at least from my view. Do you see a lot of it on film?
Yeah, I mean, Syracuse likes to press their corners as well, and we're seeing quite a bit of it. We saw a ton of it last year. We're seeing a little, with some of our motions and some of our passing that we've done this year compared to what we were doing last year. We were very, stagnant in our alignments where people could do that. But with some of the motion we've gotten, we've been able to take people off of us.
All right, as we get ready, this is it. Last opportunity to talk about Syracuse Orange. This game is really important to them, too, because they have struggled. They're not where they want to be. What do you think you expect to see from them on offense with this new quarterback? He's more of a pocket passer than Narduzzi was more of a, dual threat.
I don't know what we're going to see. It's, they're going back and looking at what they're doing, how they're doing it. They've switched up a lot of things in the last few weeks, from the 12 personnel, which is, 2 tight ends in the games. Last week I think they only ran 5 snaps of the 2-back set, which is a lot of the Central Florida stuff that we've worked. So we've worked a ton of different stuff just to get prepared. The one good thing is we don't have to worry about the triple option. They're not going to run the triple option. But we've even talked about, who knows, maybe they come out and start to run the triple. They've run option in the past, so we'll see. But, we know we're going to get an attacking defense and aggressive team. And again, Syracuse, Dino Babers does a great job. I just know he'll have his guys ready to go. We're going to see the best Syracuse football team that we can Friday night. And that's what I've stressed with us. We got to play the best game we've played of the year.
If you follow the trend, 2016 was like a basketball score. 2017 in the Dome was a little bit lower scoring. Last year was an overtime game in the 40s and 30s.
So what's this one?
We're back to low scoring.
Low scoring?
But you see 2 defenses that have really good players on both sides of the ball. Is the onus on the offense really to deal with that all game?
It really is. I mean, we got to score some points. I mean, it's you talk low scoring. It always scares me as a defense guy. I'd like to, we can keep low points, but we want to score a lot of points. Our goal is to score touchdowns, and we need to score more. And I've got a lot of faith in our offense and Kenny Pickett, our receivers, and our offensive line and running backs to get it done.
Well, with offensive coordinator Mark Whipple, the passing has proliferated. You've got these great receivers. Kenny Pickett's playing at another level, which you hoped he would. You still need to try to find a way to get your run game going, but you've dealt with some players that weren't there due to some injuries. So what do you do to try to get that going here as we start the second half of the season?
It's something we focused on last week in the open week of just trying to get some more movement up front and some different stuff schematically to open up the run game. So we'll find out if it works this weekend.
Good luck against the Orange.
Thanks. Let's get all the Panther fans up into Syracuse. Take that short drive up there. We could use you in the Dome.
This has been the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.